Okay, today's project is going to be this Magnavox 25-inch color TV from 1993. This is not the sort of thing that I would want to fix to put in my collection, but I can still get a few dollars for these kind of TVs, so if I can fix it and get 15, 20, 25 bucks out of it, then that'll be that much more money than I had to start with. The guy at the flea market gave me this TV. I think it'd been sitting there over a year, and of course nobody bought it, so I asked him about it, and he said take it with you. Now this TV is totally dead, won't do anything, so we'll open this up and see what's going on with it. And here's the inside of the TV showing the chassis and CRT. This uses the 25S1 series chassis manufactured in February 1993. So now we'll pull the board out and do some checks and see if we can find out what's wrong with this thing. And it looks like I found a problem, which is no surprise with this set. The horizontal output transistor, which is this transistor right here on this heat sink, is dead shorted. And there's also a small soldered in pico fuse that's blown, which is no surprise. And usually what causes the horizontal output transistor in these sets to short is this electrolytic capacitor behind the flyback transformer. It's rated at 100 microfarad, 200 volts. That's a common cause. And also loose connections on the horizontal drive transformer can cause the horizontal output transistor to short. And oftentimes when the horizontal output transistor shorts, it takes out the voltage regulator and the power supply, and this transistor right here that's also in the voltage regulator circuit, as well as some more parts. I hope that's not the case with this set, because like I said, I'll be doing good to get $20 or $25 out of it, and I don't want to have to go through an extensive repair procedure on this set. Okay, it looks like this one got nailed good, but I've seen this problem before. So here's what happened. This capacitor, which is a 100 microfarad, 200 volt capacitor, started going south, and as a result the picture lost horizontal sync intermittently, or that's what the effect usually is when this capacitor goes bad, is the picture will look all scrambled and like it has a loss of sync. And people will usually keep watching the TV until this capacitor goes completely out, and when that happens, this horizontal output transistor shorts out, and when that happens, it blows up these parts in the power supply. This is a tip 47 transistor, and this is an STR30130 voltage regulator IC. And there's also a resistor down here that's smoked, or at least overheated right here, that I think we're going to have to replace. And when that happens, it blows this 2.5 amp fuse right here. Now, had somebody just taken this TV to the repair shop when it first started acting up, we could have gotten by just replacing this capacitor here, and the TV would have been fixed. But since they had to continue to use the TV until the thing just completely died, now we have a whole bunch of parts we have to replace. But before I go scrounging parts, I'd like to test the picture tube to make sure it's still reasonably good. The last thing I want is to get the chassis going and discover the tube is so weak that it won't make an acceptable picture. So let's do that right now. Okay, we're connected to the B&K 470 CRT tester, and we have 6.3 volts on the filament. No cathode short, no G1 short. Set our G1 voltage to 50, and we'll set our G2 cutoff for red. green, and blue. Okay, there's the blue, very good, green, and red. So yeah, this tube is 20 years old, and this TV has a fair amount of hours on it, but this CRT is in still very good shape. So yeah, I think this television is, well, technically it is worth fixing, and then again, it's not worth fixing. This would make somebody a nice, everyday, reliable TV, but on the other hand, most of the general public has gotten so snobby that they wouldn't be caught dead with a TV like this in their house. They'd rather have a more modern Chinese flat screen that will die in 2 or 3 years, and there won't be any hope of getting it repaired. But anyway, I'm going to try to scrounge some parts for this thing and see if we can get it going again. Okay, back on the 25-inch Magnavox TV, I have finally obtained the necessary parts to fix this, or I hope we've got all the parts we need. We have an NTE 2353 horizontal output transistor. We have an STR 30130 voltage regulator IC. We have a TIP 47 transistor. We have a 100 microfarad 200 volt capacitor, which was the cause of all of this problem when this failed. We have a 1 k ohm resistor and a 2.5 amp picofuse. We'll install these parts into the chassis and hope for the best. We now have all the parts installed on the circuit board, and unfortunately some of the little foil traces decided to flake off of the board. As in here on the horizontal output transistor and on the voltage regulator IC and on the TIP 47 transistor. That's one thing I don't like about these older North American Philips Magnavox chassis, or the printed circuit board traces are not that great. They don't take much abuse. But when that happens, we just simply jump a piece of wire across the damaged trace and we're good to go. Okay, now it's time to put this chassis back in the cabinet and see if it crashes, burns, or works. I hope it works. Okay, success. We have this all put back together and it fired right up.
We are Mississippi State University, Meridian.
I adjusted the focus and G2 controls on the flyback along with the background controls to get the color temperature a little bit better, and it's got a pretty good picture on it. Only thing wrong with it is the deflection yoke is rattling. Sounds like it has rocks in it, and that was a common problem on these Magnavox sets. I don't think it'll pose any functional issues. It'll just be noisy, and I'm really not worried about it. Probably not going to keep this TV. It's probably going to have to find another home, but I've got a friend that can still sell these and get a few dollars out of them, so might let him try to sell this. Try some more channels here.
Fine and heavyweight materials to construct our bed. We can build both kids. Get haircut.
Yeah, not by Edward. Scissor fool.
So she's a little hot, all right? The consensus that we should at least be cautious about these claims, in that the
is a very defective person.
With some rain, soaking rain.
Not a bad picture for a 20-year-old set.
It was our first sex scene, which was terrifying, but it's super easy for us to differentiate.
Okay, there you go. The repair of the 1993 Magnavox. Thanks for watching, and more to come later.